Hi everyone, Aaron Grant here at People Working Cooperatively. First of all, thank you for continuing to be willing to serve your neighbors for our 45 Days of Service event. We're really grateful that you're still willing to put the team together and that you're willing to help do what's needed to work through the challenges of the pandemic that we're all living through. I want to go through some of our safety guidelines and really focus on the important things that we need you to do to stay safe in the field, to make sure that you can continue to provide this important service to your neighbors while staying safe. It's possible, even likely, that we're going to move into the purple status here in Hamilton County. So if we have any specific orders from the governor or from local health officials, we'll of course follow them. But if we don't have any specific guidance, we really believe that if you follow our safety guidelines to a T, and if you're very careful and use common sense, that there's still a safe way to provide this service to our clients. So I want to go through those things one by one. You should have all received these guidelines by email, but I want to make sure we have a chance to go through these in a virtual format. So the first and foremost important thing is that we have no direct contact with PwC's clients. It's really important that if you need to speak to them, you do it over the phone or wave through the window or through the patio door. We want to make sure that we do no harm and that we are putting them at no risk of exposure to the virus. That also means that we want to make sure that we are staying outside at all times. At no point should you enter the client's living space, whether it's for the restroom or for getting water. We need to make sure that everything we do is on the outside of the home. We also want to make sure that you're limiting your crew sizes to about 10 people per job site. We know this can be a challenge when you're taking on a big yard for Prepare Fair, but we're doing this because we want to make sure we don't have any large groups in any one place. It's important that you're able to keep your distance and to keep safely separated while you're working, and limiting the crew sizes helps us do that. While you're on the job site, we want to make sure everybody is wearing a mask, even if you're 6 feet away from each other, and yes, even though you're outside. We want to make sure that's clear because it's really easy to forget when you take your mask down, you go to pick up a leaf bag, lo and behold, you're face to face with another volunteer. So we want to make sure that your mask stays on your face at all times while you're on the PwC job site. Every crew is going to have plenty of hand sanitizer, and we have plenty of these PwC bandanas that I'm sporting right now for people that don't have their own face covering. All of these safety guidelines are things that you will have received in written form, but those are the really key things that we want to make sure you keyed into. The other really important thing about staying safe through this event is to have a plan. And what I mean by that is what happens, what is your contingency plan if somebody is sick, if somebody is exposed to somebody with COVID-19? We need to make sure that you as the crew leader and perhaps the crew that you're recruiting knows what's going to happen if they wake up that day or in the days leading up to your workday they test positive, or they've been exposed to somebody who may have been positive with COVID-19. So we're encouraging you to make a plan. Specific things you might do are thinking about an alternate work date, preferably 14 days from your planned work day. That makes sure that if you need to, and if the weather allows, you have an alternate work day if you need to change your plans drastically from your intended work date. You may also consider having people that are ready to step into your role as the crew leader if you have to stay home, or if you can no longer safely be involved. The same thing could go for your volunteer team members. Do they have somebody on call that could step in if they're no longer able to volunteer on the workday? But the primary goal here is to make sure that whatever happens, there's no surprises. And we want to make sure that if you have a plan, there's less of a temptation to just see what happens. So we hope that you're careful. We hope that people are doing their safety and health checks before they come to volunteer. And we encourage you as the crew leaders to check in with all your team to make sure people have no symptoms, they're feeling safe and healthy, they have not been exposed to somebody with COVID-19 in the past 14 days or a suspected case, and that they haven't done a lot of extensive traveling here in the past 2 weeks. So if we follow all those guidelines, we really think that there's still a safe way to provide this important service to your neighbors and to remind them that yes, even though this is hard, you're still willing to do what it takes to provide this important service. And I know that physical distance is one of the hardest parts about this pandemic. So what we can't tell people face to face about the fact that we are here to help them and that we care about their well-being, we hope that your good deeds are what tells that story. And that's what we want to come from this event. We really want to make sure that the only thing we're spreading during this event is the goodwill that you're bringing in the spirit of your service.